Okay, are house cats overpowered by TierZoo? Well, I think cats should be overpowered. I think that is correctly tuned. That's just my opinion without having watched this video. And I do not expect to change my mind anytime soon. But let's see what he has to say. Maybe? Is it loud enough?
This game's tier list can seem pretty set in stone sometimes, but in reality, major shifts in the meta can happen extremely quickly, especially when new resource hotspots and points of interest open up. Builds which are well adapted to capitalize on these flashpoints can see dramatic ascensions on the tier list. One such event occurred when humans unlocked the food storage ability. This greatly improved the humans' survivability by giving them a consistent source of XP, even during harsh winters or famines. That is, if they could defend their stockpiles. These stashes were incredibly valuable, and could easily support entire colonies of rats and sparrows if improperly guarded. And while these Neolithic humans did have some techniques that could use—
Fun fact, Neolithic people stored grain in clay pots, baskets, and pits dug deep in the ground. Yes, but... but did you know that, like, the population got shorter after we started eating grains?
Used to try and protect their precious grain on their own. Ultimately, their saving grace came in the form of a previously low-tier predator build that was barely scraping by in the North African savanna. The wildcat. A build which, once domesticated, would go on to become one of the most oppressive, overpowered predators in the current meta. But what—
Wait. Is he saying that cats were, like, low tier before we domesticated them? Really? I've always thought cats were, like, pretty high in the list.
And one of the most oppressive, overpowered predators in the current meta. But what is it about the house cat that makes it such a dominant threat? And how was it that the wildcat became better suited at taking advantage of pest infestations than other builds? To really explain the success of the house cat, we need to go way back and start our story just after the Miocene balance patch. This update granted mammals access to a new ability called Carnassial Teeth, a side grade of the dentition skill tree, which allows users to gain bonus XP from carcasses and carrion sources.
Oh my god.
This may seem like a minor thing, but it completely changed up the metagame and made hyper-carnivorous builds a lot more viable, giving rise to a new archetype called the carnivore.
Oh, meerkats! I didn't think meerkats were in this category. Mongoose? Okay, dog, otter, skunk, and bears. Are meerkats that fierce of a predator?
A group which includes many of the most popular predator builds in the current meta. Carnivorans are divided into two factions, caniforms and feliforms. Caniforms are more generalist in nature and invest a lot into the olfaction skill tree, letting them track the sense of whatever they need, be it scavengeable carrion, prey, fruit, honey, water, or teammates, from a great distance. They also tend to have a lot of stamina, allowing them to run for long distances without tiring. Feliforms, on the other hand, doubled down on the Carnivoran archetype's original strategy. They spec'd into even more abilities meant to crank up the efficiency of the hyper-carnivore game plan. The ability Tongue Papillate allows felids to extract even more value from fresh kills. Instead of investing heavily into scent-based sensory power, Feliforms tend to focus more on their hearing and eyesight abilities. This doesn't help them scavenge, since things like carcasses and berries don't make sound, but it does make them incredibly good at detecting hidden prey. Also, in keeping with the carnivorans' first major advancement, Feliforms also focus a lot more heavily on specialized dentition, optimizing their bite attacks to deal massive puncture damage, and more effectively hold onto prey so the user can deal bonus damage with their claws. Throw in a few more ambush-focused abilities like retractable claws and camouflage fur patterns, and you've arrived at the modern Felid, easily one of the most successful stealth assassin builds the game has ever seen. In fact, during the Ice Age expansion, Felids were such a dominant threat that many other predator builds had trouble competing with them at all. In the current meta, cats remain incredibly dominant in virtually every major terrestrial server. Basically every cat, including the ones I like to throw shade at, is a threat. Not just to those of similar weight class, but even to builds that vastly outweigh them. Although their power stat tends to be fairly modest among carnivorans, through efficient use of critical hits, a skilled Felid player can take down just about anything. While the majority of the Felid player base was off rampaging through the upper weight classes, An offshoot of the faction opted to forego larger size and
Even
instead
he
chose
said-
to spec into a few new abilities
Even he
meant
said
to
cats were
capitalize on
doing well.
exploiting the weaknesses commonly found in the lower weight classes. So let's finally start unpacking what makes the house cat so overpowered. We'll begin with a quick look at the cat's stats. We've got a build with upper mid-level intelligence, low defensive stats, decent damage, above average stealth, high mobility, and excellent perception. Right off the bat, something that might jump out at you is, well, the fact that nothing jumps out at you. Cats are supposedly some of the most broken predators of all time, and yet none of their stats seems all that busted on their own. Top tier builds tend to have at least one stat that is so high it completely invalidates the strategies of other players.
Cats
But no,
are
cats
not
aren't
glass
able to
cannons.
use tools, they don't have a bone-crushing or venomous bite, they can't change colors, they can't tank attacks for days, they can't echolocate, and so on. So no obvious answer here. Next, let's check out their unique abilities. We talked about a few already, including the abilities that buff the XP rates from meat sources. These should not be understated, as without them you can pretty much entirely write off the viability of this build. Cats and all other mammals have the warm-blooded trait. This grants them greatly improved stamina regen rates, greater resistance to cold damage, and a bunch of other useful perks, but at the cost of much greater upkeep requirements, meaning they need to
they can eat
secure
one?
kills much more frequently than similarly sized cold-blooded builds. With
Honestly, I thought the cats are just being whiny little babies when they want to eat all the time. You're telling me they have a reason for that?
Without these abilities granting the cat bonus XP from meat, it would be very difficult for them to keep up with their energy needs, even with how efficient cats are at hunting. Cats can also move extremely quietly due to their soft toe pads and retractable
Soft
claws,
toe pads.
enabling them to easily get within striking range of prey through smart use of cover and line of sight. But okay, all types of cat, large and small, have those
Cat got
abilities.
ooped.
How about something more unique to house cats? For that, let's look at their primary perception-based ability, slitted pupils. This ability grants house cats extremely precise depth perception, greater than all other felids. This allows them to perfectly judge the optimal pouncing distance, massively increasing their odds of landing an immediate critical hit
Keen
and
eye.
incapacitating their target before it has a chance to respond. So even though the house cat's base damage isn't broken in and of itself, when a house cat goes on the offensive, it can certainly look that way. This strategy is what has led to the complete collapse of several different player bases in the amphibian, reptile, bird, and mammal factions, as it truly is that oppressive. Now, while we were first looking at the cat's base stats, one thing you might have assumed right away was that the cat's lower defensive stats are its main weakness, and that cats function as a sort of glass cannon, with very little counterplay options when attacked. You might also assume that given the
think
cat's
so.
high mobility, their primary defensive strategy is simply to run away when they feel threatened.
Yeah.
And while their top speed is often enough to escape danger when needed, instead, cats employ their mobility stat defensively in a different way. This is where one of the most shockingly effective aspects of the house cat manifests. House cats use their incredible agility to stand their ground. Agility and quick reflexes are
Wait. I learned this. Aren't they just like those mobility types? Aren't they just like Lucio and Scout? They just are faster, but they're also like wall bouncier, right? You can just confuse and outlast your opponents.
usually used to dodge attacks, but cats instead actually use their reflexes to deflect them. Because their incredible depth perception grants them such high
Smack it.
accuracy on their
Smack
attacks, they can use their claw swipe attack to actually block incoming strikes. This is surprisingly consistent and works on a lot more attacks than you might think. Now, obviously, this is a high-skill, high-reward strategy. Missing a parry can result in serious damage, but if you get good enough at this, you can ward off attacks from just about anything,
they're
and
Elden
potentially
Ring
even open up
players.
opportunities for counterattacks. Put all this together, and you come to understand what a house cat build truly is. A house cat is what you get when you fuse the deadliness of a snake with the energy of a mammal. But why does this playstyle make for such a good partnership with human players? Compared to dogs, they seem like they'd be much less useful party members. Humans broke the game and became the top tier build by using coordinated team strategies and tool use in order to utterly trivialize their matchup versus large mammals. Dogs easily slot right into this game plan, as they can help track and chase down large prey, and also sniff out any potential ambush predators that could disrupt and punish this strategy. When a successful kill is made, dogs and humans naturally split the reward and both benefit. Dogs are also great defensively, as they can keep watch at camp and alert party members of approaching enemies.
Not gonna lie, my dog
Cats
has
are
never been
generally
good at
pretty
that.
useless in this regard. They don't have anywhere near the endurance required to chase down prey over long distances, can't square off head-to-head with those builds anyway, and aren't nearly as reliable for early enemy alerts. The kills a cat makes can't realistically be shared with humans either. It wasn't until humanity unlocked the agriculture ability that the player base began to notice additional vulnerabilities they didn't need to care about before. Vulnerabilities that dogs couldn't really help with. When operating off of a hunter-gatherer strategy, humans could basically ignore all builds in the low weight class. Rats and birds were no threat to humans, and also not worth the effort to take down, so it makes sense for them to just focus on larger quarries. However, when the focus shifts to farming and food storage, those same builds humans were ignoring before suddenly became one of their biggest threats. Having a granary raided and its food reserves destroyed could easily wipe out an entire human settlement. So figuring out proper security for these storage sites was critical. Dogs simply are not effective enough at stopping pest infestations to fill that role. They cannot climb or fit into small spaces, and aren't stealthy enough to catch the trickier pests. Cats, on the other hand, are truly excellent at this task, and come with other benefits as well. The main one being that they require very little upkeep. Although they are social builds, they hunt alone, so they don't require any direction or attention from their human party members in order to accomplish their task.
Oh my god!
Since humans don't have any need for rat or bird carcasses, the fact that cats don't usually share their kills is actually a benefit rather than a drawback.
Yeah, we don't know.
The only thing cats really require from humans is to share in the shelters they construct. In the wilderness, cats typically use burrows, hollow stumps, or caves as their home bases. But these are vulnerable to attacks. Human settlements are significantly safer. Speaking of safety, even though cats are extremely lethal hunters, they pose very little danger to humans.
No, okay. Have you ever been scratched by a cat? Have you ever been bit by like a truly vicious cat? I love cats, don't get me wrong, but that stuff stings. You know, as soon as they scratch you, like you get an allergic reaction and your skin starts freaking out. It's not like dogs. It's not at all like dogs. In defense of dogs and cats.
This is a huge advantage over snakes, which theoretically could ally with humans to serve the same purpose,
but
in practice are far too dangerous to risk keeping around.
Oh my god, they just
cats are warm-blooded and therefore need to eat more frequently than snakes is also a benefit rather than a drawback for humans, since it means they need to stay on task and keep their guard up. So while it is common to see players debate which build makes for the better addition to a human player's party, the correct answer is actually both. Dogs are a huge help in the large creature matchup, while cats cover your weaknesses in the small creature matchups. Having both in your party covers all of your weaknesses, and enables human settlements to use a hybrid playstyle of both hunting and farming. So if you're a human main trying to construct the most optimal party comp, the only real question is how you keep the dog and cat players from fighting each other.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Now, knowing which traits...
From now on, I won't be like, do you have a... Are you a cat or dog person? No. Are you a hunter or gatherer? I need to know.
And abilities to invest in can be a difficult choice. Luckily for you, I've partnered with the game Cell to Singularity to provide you the perfect training simulation. Cell to Singularity is a scientifically accurate, non-fiction, idle clicker
I'd like to be a farmer. You're just a simple farmer.
To unlock traits to evolve your biology, increase your intellect, and invent new technology.
Task-oriented lifestyle and Stardew Valley, I'm not sure.
It's a relentlessly fun idle game that had me hooked for weeks. I love the charming low-poly 3D animals that you unlock as you progress through the Tree of Life.
I don't know if the cats would help me, but I would be distracted by the cat instead.
Build an entirely new limited-time game expansion, focused entirely on exploring.
To be fair, the dog would also distract me.
It's free to play and available on Steam, iOS,
Dogs
and
need
Android.
to like
We worked closely together on this cat event, so see if you can recognize and remember some of the important special abilities that I mentioned as you play through it.
Look.
If you do manage to get far enough in this event, you'll even unlock a special TierZoo
Do they actually have cat
which will permanently give your simulation a valuable speed buff.
What?
So please do check this one out, because I genuinely have never been so excited for a brand partnership before. This one really is special to me, and I guarantee you'll have fun playing Cell to Singularity. Again, it is completely free to play, so click or tap on the link in the description or scan the QR code
even if they hurt a little bit.
Thanks again for watching, and as always,
you're just gonna have to endure it, right? Okay, so what I gather from this video is this is a 12-minute excuse for a cute cat video compilation with video game references added everywhere. Just to like... This really was a very zoomy editing style. I felt like I was watching Subway Surfer. You've seen these cat clips before, but wait! We've layered on some Super Smash, some Minecraft, some like... Other random things, some Among Us sounds. Catch all the references so your little brain will be overwhelmed and happily stimulated. I've owned both cats and dogs before. But I own both of the kinds that are not very useful towards what he is like building a party around, I guess. I don't think my cat ever caught anything. Granted, I was very young, but I don't think she caught anything ever. She was fairly smart. She was very cute and knew that like I liked her the most, so she slept with me. Let's see. My dog is a Pomeranian, right? So I feel like every point about dogs is very moot when it comes to Pomeranians. They're just like fussy little cats. They're such prissy little cats. The most cattish dogs I've ever met. They have such an attitude, you know? They're very lazy and they... He resisted me every time I wanted to take him out on a walk. I'm like, nope. You and me both. We gotta get through this neighborhood. Yeah, he was such a silly little guy. I think my parents overall prefer dogs, but I don't remember why we had a cat. I think it was like some family friends at the time had an extra kitten, so that's why we got a cat early on. And when we moved away, we did have to give it away, so I was very heartbroken. I love my cat. My doggy, on the other hand, was like specially picked out by my mom. You know, she wanted a white Pomeranian. Sure, we sure did get exactly the white Pomeranian we wanted. And he was afraid of cats. Was the dog that would bark 5 feet away, and then as soon as you bring up a tiny little puppy, he would be freaking out. He'd be scared. The cats could definitely beat him up, so... Don't know how accurate this is to all dogs and cats. Mine hates everyone, but to me she's clingy. That's like pretty common unless you socialize them, I feel. Yeah. A bell on her cat that went outside because she was a menace. Yeah, exactly. They do tell you that you should keep your cats indoors unless you really live in an area where the wildlife is not going to be affected, because cats are so good at what they do. Like, you don't have dogs that like go out killing birds and rats and stuff all the time, but like, you know, you will get so many casualties with a cat on the loose. The cat run after deers, and the cat would win. Oh, actually, you might get kicked. I don't know. Depends. Shibas are also very feisty, but Shibas are bigger. Shibas are in a higher weight class, okay? Pomeranians will get stepped on, and that will be it for them. Shibas still can bite. They're kind of bitey. Cats are like... They can hold their own. It's just that sometimes they will decide that they have a personal problem with, you know, your blinds or something, or your neighbor. Of a Chihuahua, he's cute but also a little dirt. Most Chihuahuas are just born that way. I don't know why they're all neurotic. Let me see. Do they have other videos about this stuff? There's too many things. Where's the cat? Cat. This one. 7 months ago? Oh wait, this is the... No. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Okay. He's been doing it for 8 years. Wow. Dedication to the bit. Okay, let's get into the cat tier list and continue the propaganda to spread the good word of the best animal ever.
Right, so in my video on dinosaur builds, I casually referenced the fact that cheetahs are low tier, which ended with me getting a ton of comments from angry cheetah mains asking me to explain myself. This is
the YouTube strat. We gotta insult exactly one thing, and then you're gonna get 50,000 comments. Also, look! 8 years ago, this is what YouTube comments looked like. Wow. Where's my rage bait? Guys, think of some rage bait for me. I gotta call something mid. I don't know what yet, because I like cats.
And fair enough, I probably should.
But instead of just making a video on cheetahs, I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone by also finally releasing the tier list for the cat dynasty. First, let's talk about the place cats as a whole are at in the meta. So I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that cats are exceptionally effective builds
Why is this video
that have held
quieter?
a high tier spot in the meta for more than a while. And though this isn't true of every cat build, of which there are more than 40, cats carved out their spot in the meta by being the best choice by far for anyone looking to play an assassin or rogue class.
Ooh.
Their weapons and movement kit
True.
are carefully crafted to allow cat players to have an easier time scoring
Night
critical hits on
vision.
their targets than most other carnivore players. Like I said, there are more than 40 different builds possible, so I can't really fit them all into a single video. So instead, I'm going to go over the most popular ones, and hopefully the way I analyze them will
Palace
help you make
cats.
your own call.
I
if
like
you're interested in
palace
one of the less
cats.
popular
They're
builds.
funny.
So anyways, I'm going to start from the bottom of the tier list and go up from there. Right at the bottom,
Also,
we've got
what?
the
No.
cheetahs. They have the highest movement speed of any land build, which is definitely an impressive title to hold.
Wow.
When it comes to scoring kills
He
on
really
builds with
hates
high mobility
cheetahs.
like gazelles, antelope, and ostriches, there are a few better at it than the cheetah. But while this works against those particular targets in that particular situation, it serves no purpose when it comes to actually defending the kill.
What?
As a result, a high percentage of the kills a cheetah gets end up getting stolen by lions and hyenas. Cheetahs need higher power and defense stats to actually be able to reap the benefits of their high
Poor
mobility.
cheetah. Wait, so are you telling me that cheetahs get cheated the most? I can't believe it. The name was right there in front of us. They got cheated from their kills. Poor cheetahs. Wow. I feel like okay, but first of all, cheetahs are the way they are because they live in the freaking savannah, okay? Like they don't have much in the way to stealth with, okay? There's like no trees. No trees. There's nothing to like hide. And okay, well like what are you gonna do against those hyenas?
Are you enjoying the video? Hi, I'm Meimi, and this is Hattie. If you enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing to my main channel. These clips are from live streams I do every week. Thank you.
You just worked really hard to take down a prey. Now you have to fight off hyenas? I would like to see other cats do better. Man, this is like unfair. This is like terrain disadvantage, okay? So really we should be balancing these expectations, right? Not enough points on wit.
The cheetah's inability to defend itself makes the early game extremely difficult for new cheetah players too. High-level players can't prevent
They're
stronger
so
builds
cute,
from briefing
though.
the new cheetah players, and as a result, very few cheetahs even reach the late game where they can abuse their high mobility stat.
That's so sad.
Long story short, F tier because they get bodied way too hard by competing builds. In D tier, we've got the Lynx. I don't have too much to say about them. They've got low-medium stats across the board with the exception of stealth. And they do possess one relatively useful ability, the ability to move silently through snow. They're best at taking out small prey using stealth, but in my opinion, there are better choices for this type of playstyle, such as the owl or the viper.
Wow.
While they don't get griefed nearly as badly as cheetahs, they do have to watch out for cougars, wolves, and coyotes. One level high.
Whoa, is that it? Okay, first of all, I also have to defend. I have to defend the poor little Lynx here, which is also commonly known as the... Isn't this the bobcat? We're talking about the same cat, aren't we? Colloquially, right? Okay, first of all, we don't have a lot of information on them because they are so elusive. They live in mountains. So this is going off of, like, incomplete information. We just didn't stock them enough, okay? So they could be Giga Chads out there in the wild, and we wouldn't know. We don't have enough funded documentaries on them, okay? Second of all, I would like to argue, yeah, okay, he's pitting them against the quote-unquote superior predators here. The owl, right? And what else did he say? The, like anything else that's like... The cougar? The cougar? Which is really just bigger. Okay, it does... just because he makes less kills doesn't mean that he's worse off than the cougar. First of all, like, he's a smaller cat. He probably needs to eat less, okay? They probably have better, you know, stealth We don't know what their mortality rates are. They probably get by on lots of smaller animals. And then they don't get credited for, like, killing little voles and stuff. Okay, yeah, we didn't stock them enough, that's what I'm saying. Smaller cats, I wonder why they are smaller. What are you talking about? They are smaller. Owls get too much credit. But, I mean, I do think owls are very majestic. I like them. But I think they get too much credit because... And hear me out. There are more bird watchers out there. There are a lot of dedicated avian snappers out there in the wild, snapshotting owls 24/7. And so they are vastly overrepresented. Okay? Because you can just get a picture of them from very far away and you're not really disturbing them. And they don't really care. They're unbothered by us. Their civilization encroaches on them a little bit less too, because like they live in trees and stuff, whereas the bobcats need a lot more territory. Okay, like just like, wow, what are they gonna do? You're gonna like build into their mountain. That's their hunting ground. Bird, they'll fly away. They'll just migrate away. That's what I'm saying. How do you like manage a whole live family of cubs? I don't know what the cubs are called for I don't know like what their like group is called for lynxes, but those birds on the other hand, they just eat worms and stuff. They're babies. You don't need to feed them like whole voles. You can just feed them like small grubs and they'll live. Pretty hard to kill off actually. Okay, so they're living in a different danger level constantly. Okay. Humph. Counterpoint cat watchers can watch from the trees. They can't. You see something like this, you're probably going to spook the cat, and also you are not going to keep following it. It's going to outpace you. But like the bird watchers, they just know where the birds live. They have nests. Oh, cat babies or kittens? No. Okay, but I mean like, oh, they're called lynx? Are they called lynx of lynxes? Are they? That would be adorable. Even though it does make me think of sausages. Yeah, just like a murder of crows, you know, or like a business of ferrets. That's what I was thinking of. You can't stalk the lynx that easily. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's very difficult, you know, and they're just not extremely high tier in the list of nature conservators that like we do extensive documentaries, because they're in such a like dangerous zone, right? It's hard to follow them. It's hard to like market it to nature documentary people, and it's like humans can't really survive in those conditions without actually destroying the mountain. Most cats are solitary though. That's true, that's true. But there's like, when you have a litter, what would they be called? Just a litter forever? Google says a group of lynx is a clouder? A clouder? What does that mean? That makes no sense. I like the link of lynxes better. Clouder? Chowder? We'll need to use imagination, more like dinosaurs. I just think that already this tier list is false, and all cats are S tier actually. I would give them all S tier. Also, counterpoint number 3. Counterpoint number 3. I would like you guys to see this very compelling picture. Okay, 1 second. I have a very compelling picture. Okay. They are extremely fluffy and adorable and absolutely pettable. Look at their pointy little ears. Look at their shaggy little fur. Look at their unique markings and their intelligent little eyes. Okay, but get this. It gets better. So, in the winter, they get shaggier. Look how chunky they get, guys. Look at them. And even better, even better. Look at their pawsy wazzies. Would you not risk a bite or two to touch those beans? Absolutely S tier. Snowshoe-sized beans. I rest my case, Your Honor. I love those beans so much. Those beans are like the size of my face. I want to be clawed. I think we can get one pet in as a treat, right? Forbidden toe beans. They're too cute. You're a bird person? Oh my god, you're one of the enemy. Birds are evil, actually. Birds are, they are government drones. They're not real. That's what the anti-cat faction is trying to tell you. They use their fluffy tail to warm their toe beans. True! So true! They can sit on their little toe beans and warm themselves up, and that is adorable. And this is an S tier cat. They're all our S tier cats.
Higher, and we reach the Cougar. While its stealth is actually a bit lower than the Lynx's, all other stats are a good bit higher, especially strength. However, it's not quite strong enough to overpower midweights like deer and elk without putting itself at risk for taking damage too.
Oh my god.
While it can climb pretty well, it's most comfortable duking it out on the ground. I've never discussed troll builds on this channel, but honestly the trolling potential with Cougars is too good not to mention.
Huh?
Cougars lack access to the roar move, but that doesn't stop them from trying. And as a result, they have one of the craziest battle cries in the game. Instead of actually being useful as an intimidating sonic AoE, it instead sounds almost exactly like a woman being brutally murdered, which is one of the few ways to seriously mess with human players that invade their territory.
Oh, wait. I've heard of this before. Oh my god. That sounds like a banshee.
There are two major styles players opt.
I heard that, aren't cougars the ones where, like, their cubs sound like a baby crying? And a lot of people have gotten accidentally lured into the forest to look for crying babies just to get trolled by cats? Yeah, that was pretty freaky. I feel like that's where banshees came from.
Opt for when going for a cat build.
Cougars are cats. Of course cougars are cats.
Style. All of the builds so far.
I don't dislike cougars. I just think they're less cute compared to lynxes. I also don't think they showed enough cougar pictures. And we need to remedy that immediately. So here is an extremely important cougar face, okay? Look at this face. You fall in love with it. You gotta boop the snoot, wouldn't you? We also know more about cougars. They're bigger cats, so they are easier to spot. I feel like they're probably in more territories or something. I don't know. I don't really know the stats behind it, but we just have a lot more information on them compared to lynxes. Look at them! Look at them! Right? But they are less fluffy. They're less fluffy, which is a little bit of a minus in my book because I want as fluffy of as a butt as possible. However, they are very beautiful. They have such a cute, well-formed face, you know? Their body is very efficiently built, if you would say that. And I have seen a cougar napping very peacefully in a hammock right in front of my face in a zoo before. Like, there was just a glass separating from us, and the forbidden toe beans were so close to reach. So it's still an S tier because I love cats.
Far have been in the feline style, which generally has higher mobility but lower strength. Panther style cats, on the other hand, are stronger, bulkier, and also have access to the Panther signature move, Roar. So we're finally going to switch gears over to the Panther builds.
Aren't panthers just cougars?
The leopard build is the next rung up on the tier list, being Africa's premier solo rogue class.
Oh, they're leopards?
Of the Panther style builds, this is the smallest. This offers the leopard players maximum mobility while climbing, a trait they use to the fullest.
Leroy Jenkins.
While it is definitely stronger than the cheetah, it is still
not
no
a Leroy
match for
Jenkins. He didn't
like
die, but also
while it is definitely
what happened
a trait
here?
they use to the fullest. While it is definitely stronger than the cheetah, it is still no match for gank squads like lions and hyenas. But unlike the cheetah, leopards actually have a way to avoid getting their kill stolen. Leopards can climb much better than any of their competitors, and they do have high enough strength to carry their kill up the tree. This allows them to gain all of the XP they deserve.
Is that a warthog or something?
All these traits together earn the leopard high B tier. Now we're at A tier, and this is where the tier list gets a little muddy, since we've only got 2 tiers left to place quite a few more builds. If I'm being honest, even though I placed leopards in B tier, the snow leopard players, with their extra...
You're right, that might be a baby rhino. Okay, so I got confused. So panthers are colloquially leopards. They're leopards, yeah. People say panther, but there's no like one cat that's actually a panther.
Stealth bonus have a strong argument for A tier. Anyways, at the bottom of A tier, we have the largest of the cats, the tiger. Not many unique abilities, but generally just very high stats. While tigers do have decent stealth, they rely more on their sheer power for winning fights. This allows them to take out tough and dangerous players like the boar. One top tier ability they do have is their incredibly powerful jump, making them deceptively mobile while appearing to have only average speed. Overall, if the tier list was simply about who would win in a one-on-one fight, tigers would be S tier, no doubt. Unfortunately, that isn't the case, because even though they'd lose in a one-on-one fight with a tiger, lions are undoubtedly more viable overall. If you watch my videos a lot, you know I see coordinated attacks as one of the most overpowered strats in the whole game, and lions are basically the poster child for coordinated attacks. So far, most of the other cats we've talked about all generally target players playing squishy targets,
They're
but lion
solitary.
players are some of the only ones bold enough to deliberately attack a tank. Their highly organized parties they form allow them to control entire sections of the map, and their defined roles prevent leeching and also protect newer players from gankers. All in all, great build. Easily
I
A+
guess.
tier.
I guess, but I think they're overrated. I think lions are overrated. Okay, let's be real. All of the credit that lions get are due to like the female lions that hunt for the males. The males are lazy bums.
And finally, we've reached the top tier, the build that embodies everything excellent about the cat dynasty, the Jaguar. Jaguars are the absolute best build in the entire game when it comes to one-shotting
tier.
players with a critical hit. They
Jaguar.
have the most damaging bite of any of the cats, enough
They're
to pierce armor.
They're pretty strong.
And their incredible accuracy lets them nail their target right in the weak point, the back of the head. They may not have the raw stats that the lion and tiger do, but they more than make up for it with their special abilities. The most important is their incredible eyes, which negate all stealth bonuses. Most cats have great vision and can even see in darkness, but the Jaguar can even see a target obscured by camouflage or hiding in murky water. The second, less obvious perk is that Jaguars are the most versatile cat build available.
Because they can swim.
They're great sprinters and pristine climbers, but they're also just as much at home hunting in the water as they are in a tree. No other build can boast dominance in the arboreal, terrestrial, and aquatic map zones. They really do dominate.
Okay, but this is also once again like Jaguars adapted in the most dangerous like settings, which is the jungle, right? Like so much of what the mountain cats, for example, they statted into is survival. They needed a lot of bulk, they needed a lot of fur, they need a lot of like the ability to find safe places to like, you know, brood and stuff. So half of their time is fighting their terrain. The Jaguar has a lot more versatility because they grew up in the jungle, which offers so much, right? There's a lot of animals. There's never like any dearth of prey. And obviously I think it is kudos to them for, you know, having such incredible speed and jumping power and climbing and swimming and whatnot. But like the other animals never got that chance, okay? So like skewed, unbalanced review.
Lions act like they own the place, but they do face plenty of competition. But Jaguars, they do own the place. They could carry their food up a tree if they wanted to, but there's no need. So yeah,
no one's gonna fight them.
One-shot anything on its server and dominates 3 of the 4 main play zones. That's your S tier. So there you have it, the tier list of the cats. Thanks for watching. Oh, did I forget something?
Oh,
yeah,
the house
you
cat!
buggers are getting your own video.
Oh. Wait, the cat video came out so much later. This was 8 years ago. The cat video was like a year ago or something. Biased tier list, but I would have a biased tier list too. Where's the palace cat, huh? Where's the palace cat? He didn't mention it at all. I just want you guys to see. This is... Look at this. Look at this face. Hang on. This is my face. This is straight from Wikipedia, so I'll have you know. Then look at this grumpy, shaggy face. It's the most relatable cat out of all the wild cats, okay? Aren't they so silly? Aren't they so cute? And then, hang on. Let me find you some more. This one. Everyone knows this picture. Just look at it. Yeah. Anytime you need a good reaction picture, the palace cat's got you. Uh-oh, stinky. Look at his big tube. So look at him. Don't you think he could have come from the saber tooth? Right? They're from the mountains of Central Asia. They are a fluffy wild cat. They have a very permanent grumpy look to them, which makes them adorable, by the way. They're very memeable. They apparently weigh about 6 to 11 pounds. Reside in high elevations, ranging from 1,400 to upwards 16,500 feet. Ferocious predators that feast upon pikas, voles, birds, and hares. They're rarely found in deep snow for extended time. They instead prefer to reside in drier areas with low rainfall. Let me see. Yeah, they are a conservation conundrum because they... Apparently, it's because they mostly are adapted to high altitudes and they can't really reside in lower habitats. So that's why we can't really bring them into zoos or rehabilitation programs because they're so susceptible to the bacteria and viruses present in lower habitats that kind of die off in the higher altitudes. Apparently, they breed fine, so it's really just their like natural homes that's the issue. You know, you have to like conserve their natural habitats. It's not like anything that's wrong with the animals themselves. Let me see what else is there. Okay, the rest of the article is just telling you how to join in on conservation efforts. So palace cats will smile more often. No, I want them to grump more often. I want to see that grumpy face. It makes me feel better. I don't want to see someone happy. I'm gonna commiserate. Where's also the most vicious cat? Hang on. We also don't have the most vicious cat, right? With the highest kill rate. I'm pretty sure we would not be able to watch the video. But it's I think it's the black-footed cat. This is what it's telling me. World's most deadliest cat because they have the highest kill count. This is completely skewed data because big cats don't need to hunt that often. But the little black-footed cat, the little vicious baby. Look at this. Adorable. Your cat looks like this. It means business, right? They have a success rate of like... recorded hunting success rate of 95%. Wow. Mostly because it doesn't go after things that it might fail to hunt. It's from South Africa, and they're the top predator for birds and mice in the savannah. So like lions can fail and get kicked by gazelles and wildebeests and whatnot. But this little creature every night stalks like tons and tons and tons of tiny little critters. Apparently they have a very fast metabolism, which means they need to eat up to 1/3 of its body weight to survive. And then they sleep only a fraction of the time that most cat species do because they need to eat so often. Wow. Well, that's not my spiritual ancestor, I see, since I sleep 90% of the day, I might be a lion. Yeah. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? I love him. Okay. So that is the cat tier list.